Hey Eurovision fans, it's Tom coming to you from Dublin. I'm back for another Eurovision reaction video. Today I'm going to be reacting to Remo Forrer singing Watergun. He's representing Switzerland in Eurovision 2023. I'm going to listen, react and see how this could do in semi-final number 1. So let's kiki. As always, I'll leave timestamps in the progress bar if you want to skip to my reaction or a particular part. If you can't understand me, you can slow down the video here and turn on subtitles. So Switzerland recently have been doing this internal selection process. From what I know, they have an expert panel and then have like a demoscopic panel as well who listen to all the songs and then they give their favorites. They're on a bit of a streak now, sending boys Luca Hani in 2019, John's Tears twice, and then Marius Bear last year, although I've heard that Marius Bear was actually the second choice. The first choice pulled out last minute and I'm not entirely sure who it was, so it might have been a girl, who knows. So Remo Forrer, he won The Voice Switzerland in 2020. I had a look at his back catalogue. It's kind of like loungy, kind of very chill music, but we might be getting something totally different. They might have just paired him up with a different type of song. The song is called Watergun, which for me is a very, very unusual title. I have to be honest now, the first thing I thought of when I saw the title was Pokemon, particularly Squirtle. I don't know why Squirtle more than any other Pokemon, but yeah, I associate the move Watergun with Squirtle. I suppose because he's the first person I ever saw use it. So look, if he wants to do a Pokemon song, I'm totally on board with that. That'll probably be in my top 3 for the year. I'm very interested to see though, what is the water gun metaphor gonna mean? Is he gonna water gun her heart or what? Let's find out. This is Remo Forrer singing Watergun, Wanna Know My Superfan. Okay, I don't know what to expect for this. I'm going in not knowing very much about what it could be. Ooh. That sounds like quite a classical starting. Pretty lighting. Oh, I quite like that start. It sounds very elegant, a bit sophisticated. Ooh, lovely bassy voice. Slightly similar feels to last year, but I think a little bit more accessible. Lovely imagery so far, very solemn. Okay, where's the water gun coming in? Oh, his voice is really pretty. Okay. Violins coming in are lovely. Very stirring. Okay, water guns is a metaphor for guns. Okay, it's lightly touching on war. Okay, that first chorus was, I suppose, a tiny bit epic. I like the piano, that's pretty. Okay, there's a beat coming in now in the second verse, that's nice. Okay, more instrumentation here. I'm liking it so far, missing a wire, but it's pretty solid. Lots of running, he's gonna have to be on a treadmill. Ooh, wow, those rocks are really cool. Okay, it is building. It feels quite different from everything else in semi so far. Although it's got a connection with Netherlands. The drumming does give it that slightly war alluding feel. Okay, what's the breakdown gonna be like? Okay. Or choir coming in. It's getting more sinister now. I feel like this lends itself to some sort of imagery on the stage. It's grandiose. And these are ashes of something. Yeah, that outro is very pretty, like the intro was. I like that they're bookmarked together. Okay, yeah, what do I think about that? Definitely feels like a different moment. I think let's get the first thing out of the way, which is that I had a suspicion from the imagery in the snippet we saw. I didn't hear anything, but I saw a visual snippet that it might have a connection with Netherlands. I think it has a small connection. I don't think they're like a total overlap, but I think that's the song that has the connection with the most. I think it's the most orchestral song that we had this year. Like we had drums and violins and piano. I feel like we had a lot of instrumentation. So that's pretty, it's a little bit different. It had a like sinister, epic quality to it with a build. We started off with that pretty piano and we ended with that pretty piano as well. And the imagery was quite, mostly blacks and whites. There was that middle part with the reds as well. And then he came up to that thing, I don't know what it was, like lots of sparks coming out. And then he was in the field of ashes. So quite dark, more adult sparse imagery, which I thought looked kind of good. It looked pretty expensive. I think I'm pretty positive towards that. I don't think it's wow. I definitely don't think it's a contender to win or anything like that. I think it's enjoyable. I think I'll probably download it. His voice sounded lovely. I really like that very, very bassy, smooth vocal. The Watergun analogy, I don't know. It sounds a little bit random. It sounds almost like they wanted a weird title, because it doesn't seem to fit seamlessly in with what he's talking about. I think he's alluding to, like, stop fighting, essentially. And then I suppose he's making a metaphor, stop fighting like kids fight with water guns. It's a bit labored, I think. It does give a striking title. Like, if you're a viewer at home and you see, wow, Watergun, that sounds new and interesting, that might pique your interest a little bit. I wonder if that is an adjustment that they've made to cater to the televote to try and get interest in the song when it comes on. In the same way that Austria's got a song called Who the Hell is Edgar? I think most people are going to go, whoa, I want to find out what this song is about. And Watergun is a very alluring title, but maybe I just need a couple more listens to get the lyrics. It's obviously quite hard to take in visuals and audio and lyrics all at the same time. So maybe I will do a second listen later, but I'm just giving my first impressions now. My gut instinct on this right now after the first listen is this is very much something that the jury would have loved, but there is no jury. It's a televote only semi-final. So I'm already a little bit worried, because I'm not saying this has got no televote appeal, but it's definitely a more jury heavy song. We saw last year with Marius, which was way less televote appeal, I think, and much more jury. He qualified with the jury quite comfortably, and he came second last for the televote. And then he got 0 points in the final for the televote as well. I don't think that this is that extreme, but I do definitely think that it's got more jury appeal. But yeah, I like that it's offering something different. I like that instrumentation, I like that stirring element of it. It almost reminded me of like orchestral suites, even reminded me a little bit of like classical music as well. So that's nice to have that different viewpoint in. And I suppose Switzerland are kind of like building themselves this niche now in the last 4 years of being this kind of like more serious, slightly dark tinged, introspective songs. I think that's the niche they're kind of like digging out for themselves. And so far it's been successful. They've qualified 3 years in a row. So let me go for my second listen and see if anything changes. Yeah, look, there's some really great elements in it. That piano is beautiful. The violins that come in towards the end are lovely as well. There's some great imagery as well. Those rocks look very expensive, and it does imply that they're going to put a bit of money into the staging to give this slightly like abstract, expensive feel, in the same way that they did with Tout l'univers with John's Tears, where they had that gorgeous abstract staging that's split apart. Yeah, I think this is really going to come down to the staging, because if the staging's super flat, I think some televiewers might just find this a little bit too boring or storm in a teacup. But if it has this grandiose staging that's got like an epic feel to it and very cinematic with that dark, gorgeous, expensive feel, I think actually this could stand out for being a little bit different. I do think its biggest competition in terms of visuals is going to be Netherlands. I actually think sonically they're different enough that both of them could get through, but I think they do need to have different visual stories, and I actually think a little bit of friendly communication between the two delegations might be a little bit helpful. Just make sure they're not using the same color palette, or they don't have something that happens on the stage that's too similar, or particularly with lights, because we know with Netherlands their song is called Burning Daylight. There's definitely going to be an emphasis on lighting with that song. Are Switzerland also going to go for some lighting tricks? We saw when he's walking down that passage, we saw these blinking red lights. There were the white lights starting at the start, so they're definitely going to be using, everyone uses lighting, but they have to make sure that their lighting, colors, and style of lighting is not too similar to the Netherlands. I wonder, do they have a relationship? This is where head of delegations really should, have their buddies who they can kind of ask, like, what are you doing? Having too many stations that look similar, it kind of just loses the impact when it's something like, oh, I kind of saw this previously. But yeah, this has definitely got potential. There's no big note in it, really. His voice is very solid and smooth throughout the whole thing. He doesn't really have a jury note at the end. So I wonder if he might decide to give a couple of flourishes. I do get the metaphor of the song a bit more now. At the start, he's talking about toy tanks, and he's kind of saying, are we acting like children? How we used to play fight when we were kids with water guns. So I like that it's touching on the war, but in a slightly more softer way. So actually, there's elements of this I think are very thoughtful and well put together. So I enjoy this, but I do like this kind of like different elegance that Switzerland are really bringing in the last 4 years. Yeah, I don't think this is a no hope at all. If this was in semi-final number 2, I would automatically put it through. In semi-final number 1, I do think it's more on that borderline, and it's going to come down to, can they translate those very gorgeous visuals from the music video onto the stage, and how do they do it, and what's the story? Is he going to be on his own? Is he going to have people there coming out from the back? Is he going to go heavy on the war imagery on the LED, or is he going to make it a little bit more abstract, so less direct? Is there going to be like a Squirtle and comes out and does the water gun move, and then you see the HP go down? You know, there's lots of possibilities in how this is staged. I would imagine it's going to be a little bit more abstract. As we saw in that music video, we didn't see any guns or other people. So the implication is they're going for something a little bit more solemn and him on his own. But yeah, I liked how he was as well. I thought that he held his composure in that really well, and his voice sounds very delicious. So I'm looking forward to seeing this. I do believe they're in the second half. Yeah, they're in the second half, the first semi-final. That definitely helps. You know, if this gets drawn 14th, that's going to help him immensely. And Netherlands are also in that second half, so the farther apart they are as well is going to help, especially if they do both have dark staging. But we've got lots of variation that second half, so I think that because there's so many different types of song, like Finland's different, Israel's different, Czech Republic, Sweden, we're going to have so many different types. That second half is really incredible. That second half of that first semi is just like, it's a show on its own. I think people would buy tickets just for the second half of the first semi. It's something the first half is not bad either, but that second half is something pretty wild. After people have seen Finland and Sweden, if Lorraine goes, and they've seen some unicorns from Israel, and they've seen if Czechia get their staging correct, Azerbaijan comes with something probably ethnic, Moldova does their sun and moon dance. Yeah, they just need to be remembered at the end of all that, so that people vote for them. Still very early days in my Eurovision scoreboard. This song has only been out for 34 minutes. It's currently sitting at 14th, but I will put an updated scoreboard from when I edit the video, because hopefully it'll have a little bit more data in it. But yes, it's currently sitting approximately around 14th. I will put this at the lower end of my top 10 right now. I think it just about makes it in. I really like this different orchestral feel that it has. Okay, that's what I thought about Remo Forrer singing Watergun. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and thanks so much for watching. See you in another version reaction video very soon. Goodbye. Blah, 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 blah.